This episode is sponsored today by the book 10 Tips on How to Survive Your Parents' Divorce. This book was written by kids. It's for kids. It's a coloring book. When you have a tragedy of divorce and you have young children who do not know how to express themselves, this coloring book, 10 Tips on How to Survive Your Parents' Divorce, is the coloring book for them. Pick it up today at blendingthefamily.com or even on Amazon. 10 Tips on How to Survive Your Parents' Divorce. Again, written by kids, for kids.
Oh, I am back. And I'm not going to say better than ever, but I am back. Welcome to this edition of, not only is it Parenting Tip Tuesday, it is also podcasting. Podcasting while driving. Maybe I should focus on the driving aspect than the podcasting. So fun in that. Welcome. I am Tommy Maloney, your host of Blending the Family, the podcast. Super excited for you to be here, and I am super excited. Just making sure. Traffic. Driving through a grocery store parking lot right now, and so I just want to make sure all is well. On my way, this is part of the reason why it's Parenting Tip Tuesday, but on my way right now to see the boy, aka Connor, play baseball. And finally, it's a nice day. The last couple of games that the boys have played, it's been freezing cold. I mean, freezing cold here in Colorado. And we've had some really, if you're not familiar with the weather here in Colorado, the best way to describe it is, and not to offend anybody. When have I never wanted to offend anybody? Anyway, but our weather in Colorado is very bipolar. One day, like today, I think it's going to be 70. Feels like it's going to be 70. And then, for example, a couple days ago it snowed. It started off as rain, then snow, and then it goes away. And we really have odd type seasons here in Colorado, but that's why I love it. That's why I love living here. I don't miss living in Chicago other than the food, but the weather back in Chicago is just crazy. I mean, you get for the Cubs opening day, as I'm wearing my Cub hat, I'll give you some visualization. I'm wearing a Cub hat right now on my way to a baseball game, but the Cubs were snowed out for their opening day. And actually the Colorado Rockies, I think their opening day was last week, and we had snow on that day, but I believe they got the game in anyway. But I truly do love living here in Colorado. Just again, to compare to living in Chicago, where winter is like a never-ending battle, and when you do get snow, that snow just lasts all winter long. It gets ugly and dark and black and gritty, and no thank you. And in Colorado, when we get snow a couple days later, it's gone. Every once in a while we'll get those cold streaks, but other than that, it's all good here. All right, Parenting Tip Tuesdays. I had a guest on the podcast coming up, Elisabeth Stitt, S-T-I-T-T. You can find her at her website, and I'll put that in the show notes. But it's Elisabeth with an S, not with a Z, S-T-I-T-T. But we had a great conversation a week ago, and I said, this was so much fun that let's make a podcast out of it. Let's do some one-on-one and share her knowledge. She's a parenting coach, and I don't want to give a lot away because, again, she's on an upcoming episode of the podcast. But and this is how it all ties in with Parenting Tip Tuesday. She gave some great advice, and one of the biggest takeaways that I want to talk about, and I don't know how I'm going to talk about this. I don't know how I'm going to bore you or babble or ramble, but again, it's been a while. It's been a while since you and I have had this one-on-one conversation. And the good news is I have an hour drive. The bad news for you, I have an hour drive. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. But this one piece of advice really started me thinking more and more about blended families. And even when you start dating, you don't have those difficult conversations, okay? So this is pre-kids, all right? This is pre-kids. But you're dating, you're going out, you're hitting the clubs. Boots and pants. I can't do it. I'll have to tell you in a little bit why my throat is hurting, and I don't know how long my voice will last. So maybe that's a good thing for you. Maybe. But you're dating, you're not thinking about, marriage, you're just thinking about having fun. But as you start progressing, as far as your relationship goes, you might avoid the difficult conversations. So, for example, some of those difficult conversations are finances. Do both of you have a healthy relationship with finance? And I know you've heard me talk about that before. What about having kids? What about religion? I mean, these are just 3 examples of the types of conversations that sometimes just are avoided because you have those puppy eyes. Oh, until death do us part, we'll never divorce. Whatever. In a blended relationship, you have to really think about those conversations because you don't want to end up in another bad marriage, okay? You don't want to end up repeating the same mistakes. I like to call it the Ross syndrome. If you know who Ross is from Friends, David Schwimmer, who played Ross on Friends, he was married, three times, I think. You don't want a relationship like that. You don't want your life to be like that. You want to be, hopefully, one and done. Hopefully. Okay? Hopefully, one and done. Oh my gosh, somebody has a Life is Good tire cover on the back of their Jeep. Oh, Life is Good, guys. I love those guys. Sorry. Squirrel! But the thing is, you have to have those tough conversations. You have to have those conversations where it could make or break a relationship. I really could make or break a relationship the more I think about it. For example, one of the things you've heard me talk a lot about on this podcast, and even when my wife Ann was, I like to say, the originator of this podcast. She was the original co-host. But a couple of shows we talked about finances, and we talked about our difficulties and our struggles, and we still go through that. And I don't want you to go through that. So that is one of those conversations where, you might be in love with your banker. Not literally, but, you might love the bank you go to. You might love the type of lollipops they give you at the bank, or the type of, maybe they give you a nice pen. But you have to look at the bottom lines. You have to look at what's best for our family when it comes to finances. That is, one of those tough conversations you have to have. Excuse me, got to change lanes. Coming up, if you've heard the podcasting from the car before, I'm coming up on the construction zone that I haven't driven through here in a while, ever since leaving the day job. So this is going to be interesting. I haven't seen the progress of the construction here in beautiful Greeley, Colorado. We still have the loose gravel sign. I just want to bear with me. Just bear with me as I go through this. Looks like they're making more progress. Oh, better progress. Let's see if it's like driving through the Sahara. It isn't bad. Not bad. Just be nice to have this construction done. All right, finances. Those are hard questions to talk about. You know, as a man, that's how a lot of us are defined, or by our finances. And, you know, it could be a scary conversation. If you're one of those, I'm going to pick on the men. If you're one of those guys that you're not comfortable with your future spouse making more money than you, you're going, again, I'm hearing sounds, sorry. Squirrel, part 2. You're going to have those conversations, or need to have those conversations, okay? Maybe one of you, or maybe both of you, staying on the finance conversation, have a lot of debt coming into the relationship, okay? What can you do? What can you do ahead of time so you're not spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on a wedding? For example, Ann and I, we got married at a one-stop shop in Golden, Colorado. I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look that up. It'll probably come to me as I'm driving. But, for example, for our wedding, we did it in one spot. We didn't, go to a church and then a reception and then some. We did it all in one spot, and again in Golden, Colorado. And I really wish I could remember, because it was such a positive experience. It was a fun experience. My good friend Tony he's a real ordained minister, as opposed to some of us who just go online and pay a little money and bam, I'm an ordained minister. But Tony came out, we budgeted Tony's costs, and Tony was super kind. He understood our costs, he understood our budget. I don't want to say we did it on the cheap, but we did. We did well. But again, that's the financial conversation. What about kids? Now, if you are a potential blended family, again, you're going to have conversations of who is going to, if you have younger kids, the two of you have younger kids, who's going to handle discipline? Who's going to handle, the chores around the house as far as the cooking, cleaning? Are you going to both equally do it? These are conversations that I just stress to people that you have to have. Again, this is all part of Parenting Tip Tuesday, where as a blended family, that I'm going to get on my soapbox, and I'm going to say that it's not always going to be easy thinking, oh, well, just because the two of us love each other, then the kids are going to love each other. No. And I've had that example. Ann and I coached a couple many years ago. They came to us and said, will you help us? We said, sure. And one of the biggest points that we stressed to them, because they had younger kids, was that the kids really do need to get along. And it turned out the kids did not get along. And because of that, that couple did not stay as a couple. So I know people roll their eyes at me when I say that, either in person or maybe on this podcast. And does that give control to the kids? It could. But I just firmly believe if you want to have a successful family and you don't want to fall into the married divorce roller coaster, then you really need to have conversations. You really need to look at the big picture. You really need to put family first. Okay? I think that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I know it's been a while. I don't know if you've missed me. I've missed you. But right now, if you're not aware, I've taken a leap of faith. And this is all part of the conversation. This is not a squirrel moment. Not a squirrel moment. Warning, not a squirrel moment. But I have a friend, Corey, who has a professional studio in his house. And he records, bands. He's recorded not just me yesterday, but he recorded another person that wanted to create an audiobook. And that's what I was doing yesterday in his studio, was recording a sample chapter for an author, and hopefully I will be that author's voice for their audiobook. And that took a lot. I did not realize how much energy. I think that's why I'm so tired today. But it took a lot of energy out of me. It took a lot out of me. And Corey was just a great sounding board, because he was able to, walk me through a few things, and stumbled on a few difficult words, stumbled on some easy words. It was a lot of fun, and I really am hoping and praying that not only the publisher but the author really likes what I did, and especially what Corey did as the sound engineer, as the sound producer for the demo. That's a good word for it, demo. And I'm going to be crushed if it comes back that they don't like the voice that I used. Well, I mean, it was my voice, but again, if they don't like the tone or the inflection or my Chicago accent, go Cubs. I'm going to be devastated. I really, really, really am. For a couple reasons. One, I think this would be a great in for me to be able to do more audiobooks. But at the same time, it would generate income, some really good income, that would really be nice to have money these days. Because again, some people say bravo, others say you're an idiot for quitting a job. But that's the stupid risk I took, and we are going to see if this risk is going to be profitable or epic failure. And my gut is telling me this is all good. If you've been keeping up with me, as far as I received an email about a possible training project, well, that fell through. So no training project. It's all scrambling right now to either bootstrap the business or see what else happens. And that's why I'm super excited about doing this audiobook sample chapter on spec, because I really do feel that, again, with the power of teamwork, Corey and I did an amazing job. We really did. Between his direction, his digital editing skills, and, well, my talent. Okay, it's not really talent, but pronouncing words like didn't, or I'm trying to think, and I can't think. And it was pretty funny because towards the end of the recording, I could just feel my brain was moving so slow, trying to pronounce words and enunciate words, and I was just like, and this was only one chapter. I don't remember how many words, but it was, I believe, 5 pages of dialogue. And as I said, by the end, it was just insane. It took under an hour to read, but it took another 3 hours of editing and re-recording some of the lines. And like I said, I just hope this works out. I really do. But if it doesn't, one door closes, another one opens, and if there's no door, build the door or build a window. Some people might think that's breaking and entering, but either way, find a way in. Okay? All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging. My ask is if you could please go to one of those really cool voice command little pod thingies and say, hey, I want to listen to Blending the Family. Or go to however you get this podcast, and please leave a rating and review. It really means a lot to me, and it helps. It really, truly helps. So there you are. I'm just having too much fun with this, and I miss being in the car, talking to you, and I hope I'm not boring you. I hope you like this, and more guests on the podcast coming up. Some great interviews. I'm so looking forward to not being monologue like this is, just me talking out loud. And as people drive by, they might think I'm actually on the phone with the headset in, or they might think I'm just bat crazy. I want to keep it clean. I like to keep it clean. I don't know. It's funny, again, squirrel, I don't really swear a lot on the podcast. I don't know why. I do swear a lot at home, not around the kids, not around the wife, but usually by myself, especially when I hear bad news. A lot of F-bombs. So, all right, there you are. If you are listening on the podcast, thank you. But I was going to say, check me out on either LinkedIn, the Tommy Maloney, or head over to the Good Men Project, and you can read also my series on the Good Men Project called God Pushed Me, and that is each and every week writing about the leap of faith and where I'm at and what's going on. Good news, bad news, indifferent, including... Nope, not going to tell you. Yeah, maybe. Well, might be. What was I writing today? Hold on, let me think. I want to leave you with some tidbit. I wrote something today about I think I told you. Well, let's just say here we go. This will hopefully entice you for going to the Good Men Project, typing my name, Tommy Maloney, and following my series, which is going to be a year-long series, but 2 words: wedding ring. Wedding ring. The wedding wing. Wedding ring. Say that 10 times fast, because I can't. But that's what I'm going to leave you with. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Wow, that guy just ran through a red light.